Hey guys, this is GWS, and we are here for some more secular bullshit. I will get this right eventually. This is take number 5. So we're gonna go through this now. Let's listen to Kyle's clip and listen to him derp on taxes.
Because the bottom bracket under Trump's proposal goes from 10% to 12%. Now, I'm not a genius, but if you're taking the bottom bracket and making it 12% when it was 10%, that is a tax increase on the middle class and the poor. That's exactly what that is. So if I am a Democratic strategist, which of course I'm not because I'm good at what I do.
Oh my god. You're good at what you do. Do we gotta go back to last November again, Mr. Kalinsky? And, you know, take this into perspective. This is the same guy who predicted that the entire Rust Belt, except for Ohio, would go to Hillary. The entire blue wall, as they say. He predicted that was going to go to Hillary. He predicted Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania would all go to Hillary. And he was just a hair's breadth away from predicting Minnesota wrong. Minnesota barely, and this is like one of the bluest of the blue states, barely voted for Hillary. That's how bad it was. And so this is the guy. The guy who predicted that Hillary Clinton would win the election because she would win the entire Rust Belt. That was his prediction. So before you talk about how somebody is good, maybe you ought to look at your own record. Hell, Chunk Uger, the sweaty water buffalo over at TYT, had one prediction that had Trump ahead. And he was probably just doing that to spark alarm in the mainstream media, wanting them to go further to the left. But at least he made that prediction. One time he made that prediction. And then he predicted Hillary would win like an idiot too. And some over at TYT were predicting Hillary would get over 300 electoral votes. So the bottom line is no, this isn't somebody who knows what they're doing. This is somebody who is cocky, arrogant, overconfident. We saw that in his debate over Razor Fist, where he completely took a dump on the debate stage. And so let's listen to what he has to say about taxes. Let's see if he can close the gap in his understanding.
If I was a Democratic strategist, they're horrendous. They've always sucked. They have no clue what they're doing. I would get every single Democrat who was elected, Democratic representative, even senators, in the same room, and I go, here are our talking points. The most important talking point, I don't want you to go 2 fucking sentences without saying Republicans raise tax on the middle class. 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 Because that's not in dispute. That's a fact. But the Republicans have successfully marketed themselves over the years as, oh, no, we're the people who want to cut taxes for everybody. Ted Cruz just did it in that debate with Bernie Sanders. Yeah, no, we want to cut tax for everybody. That's not true, Ted. We can look at your plans. I know what your rhetoric is. I know the plans say the opposite, and you're going to raise taxes on the poor and the middle class and cut them for the rich. So if I'm the
Okay, so that's the full context of Kyle's understanding is he believes that Republicans are raising taxes on the middle class. And he's right. They are raising the rate from 10% to 12%. But there's a little something Kyle doesn't seem to understand in his little bubble, because apparently he's never worked in his life, is that when you're making under $50,000 a year, you get a tax refund. You heard that right, a refund. It is essentially a negative income tax for everybody making under, it's either 45 or 50,000. It's one of the two. I don't know where the bracket starts to increase. But yeah, you have a 10% income tax rate right now for people making under that $45,000, $50,000. But you have what's called the standard deduction. You can choose one of two deduction types when you file your taxes. You can choose the standard deduction, which is $6,400 for individuals, and I believe $12,000 for married couples, something like that. And that goes off of that 10% that you make. And the thing is, the nature of that means you're always going to get a tax refund, because 10% of 50,000 is $5,000, right? And then so you're going to get minimum $1,400 of a refund. So you get that standard deduction, you get a refund. And Republicans want to double that tax refund. So what does that mean? That basically means that you're going to receive massive tax refunds. I'm not sure if there's limits or not on that, but the point I'm making is this, is that you're not raising taxes because those people aren't paying taxes. They're net getting a tax refund. And number two, the standard deduction is increasing under Republicans by $5,600, from $6,400 to $12,000, nearly doubling it. So if you're making $50,000 and you go from 10% to 12%, that's $1,000 increase on your taxes. But you're getting an increase of $5,400 from your deduction. So that's $4,400 total you are adding to your refund. So no, there is no middle class tax increase. The standard deduction disproportionately helps people of lower incomes, because when you have a fixed income deduction versus acting on a percentile income tax, it's going to have a larger impact at lower percentiles because it's a fixed number. Once you get higher in the percentiles, that standard deduction means less and less and becomes nothing at all. And that's why you have rich people itemizing their deductions, because the standard deduction does not help them at all. But see, Kyle doesn't even understand what the person, because he's quoting from a congressman here, as you can see from the title of the video, but it's this speaker here. I'm not going to play him again because a lot of it's just a lot of political grandstanding, but he does have an important piece of context, and it's a little bit of a debate, because there's something called the state and local income tax deduction, where your state and local income taxes you can deduct from your federal taxes. And the whole point is to give states the freedom to tax people without punishing them by increasing their total tax burden on the country. And for me, I'm on the fence about it, because there's benefits and there's drawbacks to the state and local tax deduction. I lean very slightly on the side of not having that deduction, because you can lower federal taxes and decrease the total tax burden. Because I think it's a little bit unfair if you have states who are going to raise their taxes, and that punishes federal revenue. That means Republicans are having to pay the lion's share of the federal income taxes. But it's a nuanced debate, and it's a debate I'd be willing to have, and it's very contentious. But Kyle doesn't even understand this, because when Kyle hears him talking, he thinks, oh, he's talking about their raising taxes in the middle class. No, this congressman never brought that up. Never once in Kyle's excerpt of this speech. Never once brought it up. He was talking about the transfer of wealth from one region to the other, which implies this state and local income tax because he thinks that it transfers wealth from blue states, from what he calls successful states, to red states. And Kyle does not even understand this point. And it's sad because there's a lot of debate to be had on this. It's not disputed. This is not an middle class income tax increase. Not at all. This is a decrease on those taxes. The people who are seeing their taxes decrease are people from, I believe it'd be anywhere from $0 to about $400,000. And at that point, it becomes the same. And in fact, they may even pay slightly more taxes if their deductions are not happening. If they're having to pay if they can't deduct based on their state and local taxes. Excuse me. So that's the thing. Once again, Kyle completely misunderstands economics, completely overestimates his own intelligence, his own predictive capabilities, and this guy is just a piece of crap. Thanks for listening. God bless.